Welcome back, students, for the school year 2021-2022. This channel was designed to help you develop your understanding on the key concept of your subject, General Mathematics. If you want to be updated on the future topics, just hit the subscription button, press all the notification, and kindly like and share if you want. This time, we will discuss about function and its application in real-life situation. Need to know this tutorial. At the end of this tutorial, you are expected to define and explain functional relationship as a mathematical model of situation and represent real-life situation using functions. We are going to discuss the difference between relation and function. When we talk relation, this is a set of ordered pairs. The set of all first elements of the ordered pairs is called the domain of the relation, and the set of all second elements is called the range. How about function? Function is a relation or a rule of correspondence between two elements, the domain and range, such that each element in the domain corresponds to exactly one element in the range. Try to look at the example. Let us try. Given the following ordered pairs, which relations are functions? A, B, C, and D, these are the examples of relations, but not all of these relations are functions. Try to observe its domain and range for its relations. Yes, A and B are functions. Why? Because each element in the domain X corresponds to a unique element in the range. What does it mean? As you can observe for our letter A, the first element in each quantity is 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second elements which is our range, we have 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can observe for the first element which is the domain, walang nagpabalik-balik. 1, 2, 3, 4. Walay nagbalik. Therefore, letter A, relation siya and also a function. Next, how about letter B? The first element of each quantity, we have 3, 4, 5, and 6. As you can observe, walang nagpabalik-balik na domain or the X value in each element. Therefore, letter B is a function. How about letter C and D? Meanwhile, relations C and D are not functions. Why? Because they contain ordered pairs with the same domain C, 0, 1 and 0, -1. And D, we have A, B and A, D. Yes, the given example is ordered pair. So, ngayon, malalaman ninyo kung saan doon ang function at saka not function. Kung ang given ay ordered pairs. How about if the given table of values, how can you identify if the relation shows a function? Just like, for example, which relation shows a function? We have table of values A, table of values B, and table of values C. Which of these tables is considered functions? Yes, letter A and B are functions since all the values of x corresponds to exactly one value of y. Why? Titingnan natin yung letter A, we have x. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Walang nagpaulit-ulit na number. Therefore, letter A is a function. How about letter B? Our x here is 4, negative 3, 1, 2, 5. Therefore, B is a function. How about letter C? Unlike table C, where negative 1 corresponds to two values, we have 4 and 1. Tingnan natin ang x dyan. We have x, we have 0, negative 1, 4, 2, negative 1. So, yung negative 1 sa value sa x ay nagbalik. There is a repetition of values in x. Therefore, letter C is not a function. Following mapping diagrams, which do you think represent function? Tapos na natin kanina yung ordered pairs. Tapos na natin yung table of values. This time naman, we're going to discuss mapping diagrams. For instance, this is now the mapping diagrams. Which do you think represent functions? Is it A? Is it B? Or is it C? Yes, the relations C and the relations A and C are functions because each element in the domain corresponds to a unique element in the range. However, B is a mere relation and not function because there is a domain which corresponds to more than range or to more than one range. Okay, so tingnan natin ang letter A. We have AX, BY, and CY. Therefore, hindi nagpaulit-ulit yung letters sa X or sa domain. And letter C, we have Jana, Ray, Donna, Mark, Maya, and Ken. So, this is an example of function. Si Jana para kay Ray. Si Maya para kay Ken. Si Donna para kay Mark. So, there is a one-to-one relationship. How about the verb B? Si X para kay A. Si X para kay B. Si Y, wala. Ang problema dito, yung si X, ang daming nobya or nobyo si X. X to A and X to B. Therefore, may relation sila but hindi mag-function. Walang forever.
Maunang dapat kung X na gani, dili na ka pwedeng ubalik ni X. Kaya nga naman, masakitan ra ka ug never na gyud siya mag-function. Alright.
So, Another thing, we are given a graph of relations. Then, how can we identify which are functions? We will discuss first about this. A relation between two sets of numbers can be illustrated by graph in the Cartesian plane, and that function passes the vertical line test. When we talk about, we have different kinds of lines. It can be horizontal and vertical. A graph of relation is a function if any vertical line drawn passing through the graph intersects it at exactly one point. Meaning to say, malalaman natin kung ang graph na example is a function, gagamitan natin siya ng vertical line test. Sabi dito, kung gagamitan natin ng vertical line test, dapat yung graph, yung line passing through the graph intersects it at exactly one point. For instance, this one. Can you identify the graphs of function? We have letter A, letter B, letter C, and letter D. Which of the graphs consider as function? Your answer is A and C. You are correct. These are the graphs of function. Why? Letter A and C. If you try to make a vertical line test, this one, and letter C, this one, and try to put a point in the intersection, this one, there is only one point ang nag-intersects.
Therefore, A and C are function.
How about letter B and D? Letter B and D are not, because they do not pass the vertical line test. As you can observe, if we put a vertical line test for letter B and D, ito, and put points on the intersection point passing through the graph, there are two intersection points. This one for letter B, and letter D, this one and this one. Therefore, letter B and D are not a function. Okay? We are going to represent the real life situation using functions. Okay. I will show to you the function machine. The function machine, we have inputs and outputs. Input is also the input is also known as our X, or the domain, and our output is also known as our Y, or our range. Okay, so the best example for this function machine, halimbawa, corn, yung mais. Ang mais, yung kernel, if you're going to magpagaling ta sa mais, munang gitawag na input kitong kernel. After maputang sa machine, natay output. Unsay output? Katong mais nga gigaling, katong corn grits, yung mais na nadugmok na. So meaning to say, our output Y, yung gigaling nga mais is dependent on input X, yung kernel, yung wala pa gigaling nga mais. We can say that Y is a function of X. Meaning to say, ang kadaghanon sa gigaling nga mais nagadepende sa kadaghanon sa wala pa nagaling nga mais. So meaning to say, si Y nagadepende siya sa X. Si X nga input nato o kadto ato ang basihan, and si Y nga output nato nagadepende sa X. So in mathematical terms, si Y o si f of X is equal. Okay? Again, f of X is equal to Y. Let us try to understand and make and illustrate into a mathematical symbol. Given number 1 problem. If height h is a function of age a, give a function h that can represent the height of a person in an age. If every year the height is added by 2 inches. Take note dito class, may mga terms that we need to translate into mathematical forms. The word added by. So when we talk about added by, meaning to say we can use plus symbol. Therefore, since every year the height is added by 2 inches, then the height function is h of a equals 2 plus a. This is now your mathematical symbol based on the problem. Example is velocity, talking about distance. If distance d is a function of time t, give a function d that can represent the distance a car travels in time. If every hour the car travels 60 kilometers. Solution. Since we have the speed formula or the velocity formula, we have to use this into mathematical symbol. Since every hour the car travels 60 kilometers, therefore the distance function is given by d of t equals 60t. This is now your final answer in this problem. So we have d of t equals 60t. It is percentage problem. Give a function b that can represent the amount of battery charge of a cellular phone in each hour. If 12% of battery was lost every hour, how are we going to make this into a mathematical symbol? Solution. Since every hour loses 12% of the battery, then the amount of battery function is b of x equals 100 minus 0.12x. Bakit may minus? Because from the word loss. Sir, bakit may 100 dyan? Nawala man sa problem. You need to assume that the battery is full charge, meaning 100%. Then, nasa loss in every hour by 12%. That is why 100 minus 0.12h. Don't forget to convert percent into decimal point. Therefore, your final answer is B of h equals 100 minus 0.12 hours. Okay. Next example is algebraic problem. Welcome to algebra na naman tayo. For example, squares of side x are cut from each corner of a 10 inches times 8 inches rectangle so that its sides can be folded to make a box with no top. Define a function in terms of x that can represent the volume of the box. As you can observe in the illustration, this is now in rectangular in form. We have the length is 10 inches and our width is 8 inches. As you can observe that the broken line is served as our height of the box. Or in a function in form, we have v of x equals length times width times height. The length and the width of the box are 10 minus 2x and 8 minus 2x respectively. Its height is x. Thus, the volume of the box can be represented by the function b of x equals 10 minus 2x times the quantity of 8 minus 2x times x. Multiply these numbers, we will come up 80x minus 36x squared plus 4x cubed. This is now your final answer. Okay, so we're done with your first module discussion on the general mathematics. This time, try to answer the activity. This activity, just write your answer on the comment box and I will give you 10 pesos regular load for those students who will get perfect score or answer. Just enjoy answering these problems. Bye-bye. Thank you and more power to each and every one.